you go to medical school for 7 years and you never practice, right? You're learning this thing and you're never putting it to use. And even when I say build with AI, people think I'm talking about shipping applications. I'm talking about simple things like, maybe not so simple, but going into ChatGPT and creating a custom GPT to do stuff for you. Like, there's so many things I use a custom GPT to do that I don't need to open anything and drag and drop, or I don't need to open Cloud Code and get it to do code for me and host it anywhere, like all the time, or creating a skill in Claude or ChatGPT and always calling it like, um, and that's what I mean. That is not technical. That is natural language, right? That is just click here, click that, and that's what makes it fascinating, right?
Welcome. I'm Tosin, an AI strategist and founder, and I believe that the smartest thing a female founder can do is run a business that works without her tied to it. In every episode, I sit down with women who are doing exactly that, using systems, automations, and AI to reclaim their time and build their life and purpose that they are called to. My guest today is Stephanie Nyako, a senior AI product manager, a LinkedIn learning instructor with multiple courses, an Anytime ambassador, a founder who has shipped multiple AI apps, all whilst working full time. And she's here to tell you that the barrier to building is not technical anymore. So, this conversation that you're about to listen to, you are going to want to take notes. So, keep watching and pay attention. So, let's get into it. Stephanie, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And before we get into, thank
Thank you
you.
for having
And before we get into the meat of the interview, I would love for you to introduce yourself in your own words. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you working on right now?
Okay, yeah, I think you did a lot of the introduction. But what I would add to that is I'm actually the founder of this AI tool does that. And I basically help businesses build with AI. And what that means is that I help businesses by training them on AI tools and AI systems that they can use to actually save time and increase their revenue. I also do a bit of implementation as well. So usually I would do an audit with a business first to identify where their pain points are, what kind of AI solutions they would need to actually help them scale. And then I can sometimes do implementation on their behalf as well. And then finally, I also do a bit of consulting. So rather than just implementing, I guide businesses on which path to take because, as you know, every day there's a new AI tool, there's something new happening in the AI world, right? So a lot of businesses need clarity. And I help businesses gain that clarity
Oh,
they need
that's
in this
super. I
AI
think
world.
you alluded to a few things like audits, which I think a lot of people are not doing at the moment. So people are just joining headfirst
Mhm.
into AI. And in my opinion, I think that might be a fear of missing out. I think, oh, we need to go into AI, we need to be implementing AI. But the question is, are they doing it right? So I think you doing that for businesses certainly makes a huge difference. So tell me, Stephanie, what prompted you to branch out a bit and do things differently? From what I know about you, you have a degree in computer engineering and master's in business and entrepreneurship. And most people would pick a lane, either the engineering path or entrepreneurship. So, how did you end up connecting both sides together?
Well, that's interesting. So I've always been entrepreneurial. Okay, I've always loved to do something on my own. My first business was in 2014 thereabouts. Back in Ghana, I was selling microcontrollers, GSM models. Like I was doing all of that, and then I've had to pivot into multiple businesses. Like I even at a point I was actually selling wigs. So entrepreneurship has always been part of me. It's always been something I've been passionate about. So when I was actually leaving the bank, because I worked as a software developer in the bank, when I was actually leaving the bank, I wanted to actually go in full time and become an entrepreneur, right? So that was what prompted my master's degree in business, entrepreneurship, and technology. After my master's degree, I was like, you know what? I can actually combine my passion for entrepreneurship and augment it with my technical skills. So I became a product manager. And there's this myth about product management that you are actually the CEO of a product. And so yeah, so that was like a good segue for me to still be able to work in the corporate environment and also still be an entrepreneurship, because then you're shaping the way products grow. And so the fact that I haven't really like veered far away from like my passion, which is entrepreneurship, which is like starting things from scratch in my role, I think that's what keeps me grounded. I feel like I need the corporate environment as well, because there's a lot you can actually learn in corporate, so that eventually when I decide to like go full time on this, I would have like that whole corporate skills and all the ethics that go with being in a corporate environment, and then I can apply that full steam to my business. But I'm still able to like handle
Yeah,
that
I
really
mean, I
well right
think
now.
if we talk a bit more about AI, um, that I want to believe also gives you that balance because you can claw back time and put that time somewhere else. And because some of the things will be running without you being in it, it makes life a lot easier. Now, I think you've answered my next question, which would have been why AI? Because you went from software development to now being an AI product manager. And you said something interesting earlier when you said you're the CEO of a product. Essentially, you're dreaming up a product and you're thinking, how will it work? How will it benefit the people who are using it in a way that they can actually see the value that they're creating, that you've created within that product. And I think that's interesting. Now, that leads me
Mhm.
into you creating your own tools because that experience has helped you to kind of start thinking, okay, because I see people build tools without thinking, what problem am I solving? But because you come from that background and
Yeah.
you're thinking, you know what, there's no point. There's so many, I mean, tools are on the shelf, a penny, a cent's worth. And you're thinking, I don't want to add my tool to another tool to the shelf that makes no difference. So tell me about the
Yeah.
tools that you've built. And yeah, let's talk about that. And tell me the one that interests you the most.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So something I left out of my story was my first, like, while doing my undergrad, right, in computer engineering, like I really wanted to go the AI route. Like I was so fascinated about robots and stuff like that. So I actually took an internship in a machine learning lab in Germany. Yeah, but then that was over a decade ago, and the AI we see today isn't like the way it was back then. It was heavy in programming. So I went into this machine learning lab, did an internship, and after the internship I was like, wow, like if I really want to do AI, like this is like a lifelong goal, because it was a lot of programming at that time. I mean, these days things are a lot more easier, which is why like pivoting back wasn't really hard for me. It was one, I've always been interested in this. Two is a lot more accessible now, right? So when I started building automations and seeing how things had evolved, seeing how it was a lot more easier now to sort of like bring things to market, I was like, wow, okay, let me just come back to this passion or interest of mine that I had had in the past. In terms of like building the applications, so as part of this AI tools does that, I also create a lot of content. So I create content on YouTube, and I'm also a LinkedIn learning instructor. And I do get a lot of DMs from people, right? They were probably following my tutorial and then they got stuck somewhere, because ultimately when you are sort of like doing tutorials, there are certain things you may edit out. People would be working on a different system, so they may not be getting the same results. So people kept like messaging me like, how do I do this, how do I do that? And I was like, you know what, let me actually just build an application whereby people can just describe what they want to build, or people can just choose a project based on the tutorials I have on my channel, and then they can follow through with the instructions. And when they get stuck, they have an AI coach to actually guide them. So instead of them coming to DM me, they actually have an AI coach that would actually guide them through the process. So that was the intention of
Is that
creating
a
my first
deeper AI?
application. And so created
So if you
Additional.ai. So
I
that was
will
what
leave
actually
all of this in the
started.
show notes, so you make sure that you go and check it out if you want to build anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is what actually prompted Additional.ai. And so I built Additional.ai, I would say I started building it sometime in January, but then I work a full-time job. I have toddlers and everything. But then I was still able to ship this thing by end of February, right? So I was like, okay, wow, this is actually
And was that
simpler than
completely
I
no
thought it
code?
is. So and that is completely me not writing a single line of code, right? Obviously, because I do have a
And God
technical
bless you.
background, I know like what to look out for and stuff like that. But then, like, is the simplicity of it, right? So I built AI and I'm like, oh wow, okay. Then now, what was the next thing I built? The next application I built, I believe, was what was it? I did this AI tool does that as well. I was already hosting it on a WordPress website because I build I used to build websites for businesses as well. So I was hosting it on WordPress, but then like anytime I need to make a change, I need to open WordPress, look for this
It was too
theme, and
long.
I was like, let me just move this over. And then I did it over the weekend. And then I started teaching skills, right? I started using skills and then I started teaching it. And I was like, oh, I think businesses or people will find value in like having their own package skills, right? Because not everyone wants to sit down and like create a skill. And
And
so I built an
trusted as
e-commerce
well.
site again
Trusted
one
because
weekend.
it's not everything you want to download into
Exactly.
your system. They can integrate and they can
Exactly.
inject, malicious hardware. So you want to be very
Yeah.
careful when you're downloading skills. I know a lot of videos have said GitHub, download all of these things, but you want to be very careful.
Yeah. You never know. Exactly. And with the AI skills pack, actually, like the idea just came up sporadically. So I didn't want to invest in Shopify, I could have gone, but again with Shopify, you still have to do all these configurations. Like because I've been building apps, I've just gotten to a point where I just want to say what I want to build and then have the AI do it for me. And these things like you put in the prompts and the sub agents to be working behind the scenes and you can actually go and cook or go do your own stuff, right? So that is what actually fascinates me about all that. So I built that as well one weekend and I'm like, wow, like it's just repeatable. So that's how I started building apps and that's how I keep doing it. Just because now it's a lot more accessible. I also find it to be a lot more because initially I was sort of like on a hosting plan with like a hosting provider.
Yeah,
Even the cost of that now using like this stack I have right now has helped me save um on my bills in that regard as well. But then like for me it's more about like the simplicity, the fact that it helps me save time and it helps me do what I need to do without having to be overly technical, and I can set this thing up, go do other things concurrently, come back, and then it's already done. I think that's like the main win
which
for
is,
me
I
here.
think, super. The key things, some of the basic things are build a website, you can put one up, and the simplicity of you being able to say, although we know that a lot of people have oversimplified these things, there are some things you still need to know when you're building websites. You want to think about your customer journey, you want to make sure that everything points to the right place, you want to make sure that it actually tells the story. That's foundational. And I think it's worth, learning that. But it's the fact that when you get to that point, overcome all of those barriers, you know that now I'm ready to build. I know what I want. I can then just go ahead and just prompt, like I'm talking to my friend who knows what they need to do, and they
Yeah.
can, yeah, pull it up. Because I've been in your AI, not the AI tool does that community, and I see that yes, you have a lot of videos up on YouTube, and they're very helpful. And it's just the idea that you're actually solving a problem, for people that will really, really make a difference. And one thing you didn't say that I
Yeah.
hear is the fact that it's very non-technical. So I'm not there to tell you what everybody tells you, because now the way you deliver it is completely different. It's in a way that people can take it in and understand exactly what it is that you do. So, in your own business, can you tell me what was the first thing ever that you automated for your business? Because I know you said you have
My
the
business.
consultancy. I've also seen that you have meeting workshops in other
Yeah.
as well. So what is the thing that you've
Yeah.
automated first within your business?
Okay. So when I got back into this whole AI space and automation and everything, actually started this whole thing while on maternity leave. And I was still like, I had like my baby and I still had to create content and everything. I would say, but then I would say like the first thing I did automate was just emails, right? Like email, like replies and stuff like that. So that was the first thing I automated. But then, like, as time went on, I realized that wow, content creation is something I need to like automate as well. So, um, because I work full time, I have toddlers, like I have activities I have to go to. I was like, I need to automate content creation. Usually when people think about automation, they think like the human is out of it, like you're not doing anything. But there are certain parts of the workflow that you can decide to automate, and there are certain parts of the
Yeah.
workflow that you can decide to keep manual, right? So I did automate like how content creation works for me. There are still some manual things I do just because I want to still have the human touch there. There's something
Mhm.
we call human in the loop. So even if AI will generate something, you still want to look over it. You probably would start with your ideas, you just jot things down, instead of you having to write everything from scratch, having all the grammatical errors and everything. Right now, having grammatical errors in your post is like a
Yes,
mode for
yes.
human beings because people are like, oh, how to spot a non-AI post. So like you want to
Hey,
deliberately
I
put in
find
a
that
grammatical
questionable,
error.
but hey,
Like what
that's
people
me. I
don't
find
like
it questionable because for me, I mean, but the thing is, you are taught to write very correct grammatical. So if now I
I
write
know,
and
I know.
my writing is questioned because it's perfect, anyway, but that's a different conversation.
But what people miss is that you can also tell AI to put mistakes in it. So it defeats the entire purpose, right? I think we need to get to an acceptance phase that
It
like AI
is.
is here to stay. So like people are going to use AI whether you like it or not. Did the post make
Would
sense? Did it
anybody
not make
write
sense?
this? Can
But
anybody write it? Could it be, is it specific to me and my experiences? And I think that's quite key.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I still do have like as a human in the loop, like I always make sure that like it's my voice, it's always me saying whatever I'm saying. But of course like I may need some grammatical check here and there. So yeah, content creation has been like a big thing for me. That's how I'm able to stay consistent. It's a full-time job, Sometimes like a whole week of posting has already been scheduled ahead of time because I've already like automated some of these things. And so maybe this week my kid is sick or maybe I'm away on holiday, but you still see content coming through just because like I have a system in
Yeah.
place to do
And
all
one
this for
thing
me.
also is you don't let it post blindly. You have that, like you said, that human, you assess
Oh
it,
yeah.
you approve it, and then you can then hand it off to whatever platform to then post when you need to. And I think the whole
Mhm.
aim of this discussion
Yeah.
really is how we as females in business can utilize and leverage technology to give us time back, and so that we're not spending our time in the business, because after all, you when you want to start a business, you're thinking, I need some freedom, I need a bit of, but if you find yourself doing every single thing that can either be delegated to a different another human or to technology, AI, why not leverage it? And the question is, you we need to now be asking is, where do I start? Not the question about whether I should even use
Mm-hmm.
it now should not even come up. It should be, where do I start? What does this all mean for my business? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you talk about
Yeah.
any 10 automation. I'm sure I read that somewhere that any 10 automation is replacing expensive SaaS stacks. And so give me a practical example
Mm-hmm.
for a business. So say, and by that I mean, say I'm investing in a very high priced CRM, when any 10 automation can simply do
Mm-hmm.
that and it costs me less. So give me an example of where someone could be thinking, I spent too much on this. What can I change to?
Okay, that's a great question. One thing I can think of is I built this workflow for like ad creation, and you just upload a photo and then it gives you provide details about like the the product, who the clientele is, who the audience is, like everything about the product. And then the automation generates like a flyer for you and other different variations of um, post you can have. It gives you like the caption and other placement types, right? Whether you want to place it on Instagram or like whatever placement you want, it just does it for you automatically. And that build replaces 3 months of working with an agency. And I'm not trying to kill anybody's business, but this is something even agencies can adapt, right? So you don't have to pay like expensive like software, Photoshop, or like, especially with business owners, sometimes they'll DIY, maybe they'll use Canva, like you'll be spending a lot of time. I mean, before AI, um I was still creating content, but not in AI, and I'll spend so much time designing a thumbnail. Not everybody has that creative juices, right? So being able to give that first pass to like AI, and then being able to say, okay, AI at least gives you inspiration, and then you can build up on there, or maybe it finalizes everything for you as well. So for me, that workflow where like you're able to generate ad creations automatically or quickly is something that saves you a lot of time, because even if you were using an agency, like there's a lot of back and forth, right? So you being able to do it yourself, you being able to run this multiple times also like saves time, saves money, and also gives you that flexibility you need. And also on the agency side as well, like you're able to work
And
faster,
scale up
reduce your times, and
your
your clients are
business.
happy. Because trust me, not every yeah, not every business owner, some business owners will still want to work with an agency. Trust me, there are certain things I would just want to hand off to people, even if I can automate it, right? So there's still a lot of win for agencies there
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
one thing also is the fact that the knowledge, the only reason why you're able to do some of these things is because you have some background knowledge. And if you think about your pivot,
Mm-hmm.
you've run online business, that means you've needed to learn about marketing, you've needed to learn about branding. That feeds into it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's coming
Exactly.
brand new will
Yeah.
still need some sort of help and guidance. And when you're prompting the AI, you
Mm-hmm.
need to give that's the context you need to give to the AI so that you're not just saying create very generic,
Exactly.
create a campaign and it's thinking, okay, I'll create and it will give you something. The question is
It'll give you its own definition of a campaign.
yeah.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
provide
So I think
context. Yeah.
that's kind of definitely because I like you, I'm a proponent of keeping human in the loop, keeping human firmly there, even though we're using AI. The idea is that we will evolve over time and our roles will evolve over time. The way we do
Mm-hmm.
business will evolve over time. So yes. Right. Okay. So we've talked about that, which is amazing practical application. Other ones, I saw a LinkedIn video that you did today about voice agents. So voice agents, for customer support, inbox management, lead qualification, these are very core pain points for small businesses. But which one
Mm-hmm.
of these? I know they're
Yeah.
all necessary, but which one would you say as a business owner, you must start today because it really, really frees up your time. If for a business who's saying, you know what, where can I start?
That's a very good question. And I feel like I can't give like an answer to like, because every business would have different needs, right? Like you can't hire somebody without a job description, right? Which is why I usually do the audit. Okay. But then of course there are certain pain points that would probably exist across businesses. A lot of businesses really want to increase their income or their revenues, right? So one way to increase revenues is through lead gen, right? So if you have an automation that helps you with lead gen, or an automation that never misses a lead, which is why these voice agents come into play. Because it's funny, because this morning I saw a post on Facebook, and it was a competition between a human and a robot, and they were actually packing stuff, and the human actually beats the robot, but the human, after he beat the robot, after like standing for nine hours, he was having back pain, he was tired, he decided to quit, but then the robot kept going, right? So to say this is like, yes, don't replace your receptionist, but they're after hours, right?
Different
Like
career,
after
yes.
hours, you don't want to miss those leads. you want to still have those leads come through. So you can have a voice agent that is just doing triage, like they're just like accepting all these leads that come through after hours. And then when you come back to work the next moment, you can actually pick up from there, right? So like I think lead gen is one way of sort of like increasing revenues, and I feel like lead gen will probably cut across a lot of businesses. There's also things like content creation. Like a lot of businesses are realizing the importance of being on social media, being online, and not just having a website. A lot of businesses are realizing that, especially small business owners or solopreneurs are realizing that like having a
Yeah.
personal brand takes you a long way, right? But content creation isn't like the core of your business. Content creation is like a
Yeah.
means to an
How
end
people
for a lot of
see you.
businesses, right?
Yeah.
So, but that can also exactly, but that can also consume a lot of your time. So, what do you do? Like, you can also at least, like, I've spoken to coaches and I've spoken to people who say, like, I really don't know what to post. Like, I'm lost. Like, that never happens to me. If anything, like, I always know some. I always have an idea. I always have something to post, right? So that is also an area that, like, automation can help you with. AI can actually help you with. There are so many other pain points, like pain points I face myself, like bookkeeping. Trust me, like that is something I don't want to do, you know. So those are things as well that like AI can also help you with. And for me, like I'm not saying every business owner should build apps, but just because I can, if I find that something is just
I
worrying me too
mean,
much,
yeah,
I'll
we
just like
should.
go and
So I
build an
think
app for
that's
it.
the
So
encouragement, though. If there is a problem you can solve and there's an
yeah,
easy way to solve, why not? Just leverage it.
yeah,
Um,
why not? Yeah, yeah, especially
so what I hear
yeah,
you saying, go on. Sorry.
especially I'm saying, especially if it'll take me like a
Yes.
weekend or it'll take me like the thing about these things is like once you build them, like let me even talk about automations and not even vibe coding. Like because I've built so many automations, like if I have to automate something, I'm just pulling from an old
Repeat.
automation, like I'm just having this template here there. So it's once you get into it, it gets addictive, and which is a good thing because then like it's a lot more easier to do stuff. It's a lot more easier to like get things out the
Yeah,
door
that's good.
quickly.
I mean, one
Yeah.
of the things I hear you saying about when I asked this question was start from what your biggest pain point is or where your biggest time leak is. Or,
Mm-hmm.
and, because sometimes I always say
Yeah.
that it's easier to increase your revenue with your current customer base. So how can you take care of them better, and what systems can you
Mm-hmm.
build in place to make them happier
Mm-hmm.
than expanding? So it's look at your
Yeah.
core problem, start from there, and then expand into the solved problem.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's great. One thing that I saw you wrote, I can't remember where I read it, was that and I've been thinking about. I said you said the real unfair advantage in 2026 is not learning AI. It is building with AI. And the gap is not technical anymore. It's imaginative. What you've just said kind of demonstrates that. I just need to think, oh, what about I just need to say this, does it solve my problem? And that's sort of, but that's one thing that I think it would
Mm-hmm.
be nice for you to go deeper in so that people can see you. You don't have to be techie. I mean, I work with non-technical founders. I make it as simple as possible. You do that to say, look, you can actually build, all you need to do is dream it up and then get building. So if you want to expatiate on that a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you go to medical school for 7 years and you never practice, right? You're learning this thing and you're never putting it to use. And even when I say build with AI, people think I'm talking about shipping applications. I'm talking about simple things like maybe not so simple, but going into ChatGPT and creating a custom GPT to do stuff for you. Like there's so many things I use a custom GPT to do that I don't need to open anything and drag and drop, or I don't need to open Cloud Code and get it to do code for me and host it anywhere. Like when I say build with I mean things like going into ChatGPT instead of always using copy and pasting a prompt here and there, just like creating a custom GPT instead and getting things to do to like just having that custom prompt there for you that you can just keep reusing all the time, or creating a skill in Claude or ChatGPT and always calling it like um And that's what I mean. That is not technical. That is natural language, right? That is just click here, click that. And that's what makes it fascinating, right? So when I say it's imaginative, I'm still saying that people are holding on to the thought that being in AI means that you're writing
Yeah,
code, being in
Python.
AI means that you're using Claude code and all that. But in reality, you can just have like ChatGPT, and the magic ChatGPT can do for you, just having that $20 pro subscription is just amazing. And so don't don't let it like don't let it like draw you back from like actually trying out AI
Okay,
and
yeah.
all of
I
that.
mean, so yes, you've heard that. It is straightforward. Get started. Anything you've watched, tutorials you've watched, just implement it. Let's get it moving. So one thing I care about is generally is that whatever we do with intention. And I know that you have a full-time role, you're a mom of two, you run a consultancy, you deliver training courses, you have a community, and you have business meetups. What does this really, what is the intention around all of this? I mean, this now, from what I've heard you speak about, goes beyond just making money because you deliver a lot of value. I've watched your videos. There is a lot of value there. People don't even need to pay if they don't want to because they can actually get started. Why do you do what you do? What matters most to you outside of all of this?
Everything. um like coming up, a lot of people have poured into me. A lot of people, like, I mean, back earlier on in my career, I've had like really great sponsors and mentors. And I know as well like the things people can do when they have access to information, which is why I put out a lot of really good content that I should actually be charging for. I'm someone who actually wants everyone to win around me. So this is my way of also giving back. I know that people, AI is actually going to make a lot of people wealthy, but it's also going to create a gap, right? Not everyone can pay for like even a $20 subscription. In some parts of the world, right? So I mean, in the West, like AI is a big deal, but like if you go to other parts of the world, like people don't even have access to internet. Well, they now people have access to internet, but then like having to pay for even $10 or pay $20 for a course or pay $100 for a course, like that is a bit tough for people, right? So for me, I want to reduce that barrier. I want to make sure that everybody has access to the information, because once you have access to information, let's say knowledge is power, right? So once you have access to information, you can actually do a lot of things with it, so that people in underrepresented areas or other parts of the world that can't afford a $200 cloud subscription, or can't actually afford a 5,000 high ticket offer, can still build with AI, can still gain some revenues, can still better their life
Yeah,
as well.
think that's
Yeah.
that's amazing. I think that's delivering value just makes changes you as well. Because I find that when I give also,
Mhm.
I feel good. It's just you feel like
Yeah.
fulfilled when you give of yourself. So it's amazing.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
Stephanie runs the AI Edge Club Hub. If you want to know more, if you want to go deeper, where she helps non-technical build people ship their first AI tool in 30 days, and that is a big deal. So if it's something that you're interested in, I'll leave all the links below this video so you can access and connect with Stephanie, so that you can work with her. But amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much for pouring it in people. And the thing is, start small. Start small. Did you ever feel like,
Mhm.
because I know right now a lot of people are feeling the overwhelm. Oh, AI, this new tool, Josh, and some people have had the fear of missing out. Some people feel like they're left behind, they can't catch up anymore. Did you ever have that feeling at all, or you were just taking things at your own pace?
I find that I find that like that is what a problem is. Like even with building automations, like people Like if you created a channel or you went on social media and you show this complex, this was happening a lot last year, and you show this complex automation, like you would get a lot of likes. People are drawn to like complex stuff and all that for some reason. But no, it's actually the simple stuff that move the needle. Like I'm saying, like a custom GPT can work wonders for you. Like you don't really need like to build a very complex automation. So back to your point, starting small. But did I get overwhelmed? So for me, most of the time when I consume content or when I consume the news
Mm.
is to reproduce it and teach, right? So I that is the mindset to it. I'm not consuming it because I feel like I'm gonna get left behind. Because honestly, like my setup right now is solid. Like I can do a lot of things I need to do with the tools I have right now. So it's not like I'm looking to add on to new tools. So when I consume the content, when I see that, oh, like actually this week there's gonna be Sonnet 4.5, there's gonna be GPT 5.6 and all that, like it doesn't overwhelm me. I'm just curious to know what it can do so that I can teach, right? Through my YouTube channel, through my LinkedIn and all that. So it's the mindset I have adapted for it, and the mindset is not fear of missing out at all. It's actually consume, teach. But then like trust me, like I always say this, that you don't need all the tools you see out there. You don't need 100 tools. Like you just need a solid setup. Once you have a solid setup, it's like
Your core, your
you
system.
found that thing that actually, and like nothing else matters again, right? So I think that for business owners, that is a mindset you need to you need to take so that you don't feel overwhelmed. I think that with a business owner, like to your point, identify what the pain points are, have a solid setup that solves your problem, and then everything else, unless you just want to know for curiosity and stuff like that, but don't let it overwhelm you, because trust me, every day there's always going to be like a new AI tool. Like vibe coding has
Yeah,
reduced the barrier to entry, so there's going to be a lot of tools out there. But then if you try to chase every tool, that's how you get overwhelmed, right? Just find a solid setup, have a solid system that is working for you, and then
super,
and that
super.
should be
Thank you.
fine.
That's great. As we start to kind of round up, so off the back of your 30-day build in the AI edge, but let's make this practical. And this is not just for business owners, because if you're someone who's looking to start your business, Stephanie's just said the barrier has been lowered considerably. You can use these tools to find ideas. You can use it's just coming up with your own suite of tools that work for you and your particular circumstance and run with it. Ask questions, give it ideas. It will come up with things that you can get started. In fact, you can ask AI tools how you can get started. It will give you the detail that you need. So, really, getting in and getting started is considerably easier than it was when we didn't have all the information available to us. So, if you have a
Exactly.
business owner, as someone who wants to start a business and they want to start working smarter, and today, where can they begin? So one tool or automation they could that you could not run your business without right now.
Content creation.
Okay.
Content creation skill that solves my problems. No, because I mean people usually ask me, how are you able to stay consistent? That's how, like, I never get like creators block or anything. Like I always have a lot of
Praise
content
God.
to shoot, to talk about. There's always something for me
Okay.
to say.
One shift in
Yeah.
thinking that changed how you approach your time or your work.
Yes, so I believe that you are paying for something one way or the other. You are paying for something with your time, you are paying for something with your money. Like you have to choose like which one you want to pay for, whether you want to pay with your time or you want to pay with your money, right? But if you build a system, sometimes you don't even have to choose, because if you build a system, you're able to save time and you're able to also monetize the system as well. So that does not allow you, like you being able to build with AI, you being able to like adapt AI in your business and stuff like that can help you get both of it so
Super.
that you don't have
Oh,
to
that's
choose,
good.
right?
Yeah. So either way, paying. It's who is making the payment that is different now.
Yeah,
So one piece of advice for the
yeah.
founder who's still doing everything and knows that something has to change. What would advice would you give them?
Okay. So back to the point about like identifying a pain point, right? Like what are the main pain points? I've heard from some founders that say like I never want to have AI in my client relationships, and that's fine, right? So you have to identify what the pain points are. You need to know what your boundaries are, what are your goals. Okay, so now you identify the pain point where you want to get to, you see the gap, and then you see how you can use AI to help you get there. Maybe for you it's gonna be lead gen, maybe for you it's gonna be content creation, maybe for you it's gonna be bookkeeping. Like the things that AI can do for you, it's endless. You just have to say the word and then it does it for you. So it's a matter of you identifying like what the problem, like what exactly the pain point is, what the boundary is, what you don't want AI to touch, and then you can actually find what kind of setup would actually help you grow your business
Okay,
or build your
cool. So
business.
now, rapid fire. First thing that comes to mind, Stephanie. Tool. What
Okay.
tool comes to mind that you will always use? A tool, not the system now.
A tool. Oh, why are you putting me in
Any,
this position?
any.
Because
It
it's
is not a recommendation. It is one you will
um
use in your business, even if everything was falling apart, because it helps you to hold things together.
it helps me to hold it together.
Okay,
Can
yes,
I
go ahead.
choose two? Just one? Okay, Claude. Claude, like I mean, I can put Claude and ChatGPT in the same bucket, and
Okay.
then I can add
Okay,
notebook
super.
LM. So
Oh, you see, so we'll leave all of that. Claude and ChatGPT are used together as well. Amazing. But again, it's
yeah.
make sure you're using the right tool for the right um job. One belief
Hmm.
that people need to let go of
Yeah.
right now.
You don't need to chase every AI tool. We don't need to chase every AI announcement. Like, I know the FOMO is not real. Trust me. Like, you just need a solid setup, and then you're good. Okay. So you trying to chase every AI tool, every AI announcement is how you get stuck. Unless, of course, you're consuming the content to reproduce, right? But if you're consuming it to feel like, oh, just find a setup that works for you and
Super.
then stick
One
to it.
thing you're working on right now.
What am I working on? I'm working on so many
The most
things.
interesting to us.
Um, to us, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm working on. Oh, that's a problem with like when
One
you're
that you think,
when you're
what,
building.
you get
So
excited. There's just usually one that you just get excited about every time you think about it. Because
yeah, yeah. This is more so like
okay,
a personal project. So this is basically something an app to help with like
okay,
managing my personal finances. So, and then if that app works, then I
super,
can
super.
share
So
it.
before I let you go, where can people find you, follow you, and get into your space, Stephanie?
Okay. YouTube. This AI tool does that. LinkedIn. Stephanie Nyako. TikTok. This AI tool does that. And then yeah, on school as well. My website is this AI tool does
So
that.com.
we,
So
I will leave all
yeah.
of those links that you can reach Stephanie on. I can say she's amazing. I've worked with her on a few things, and yes, that's why she's here to give you value. So you want to find her, you want to follow her, you want to consume her tutorials because it would help you move the needle, get you further from where you are right now. So that was Stephanie Nyako. This conversation, and if he did what I hoped he would, hopefully it was made the idea of working smarter feel less like a chore. Now you know that getting into AI, using it in your business is a matter of just starting, making a decision on where you want to start, where the pain points are, and where your biggest challenges are, and just saying, "Well, how can I get started?" One, you don't have to be technical, so hopefully we've broken that myth today as well. And you can just get started. So if you know any founder, any woman in business who needs to hear this, please forward on to them. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I will see you. And if you want to be on this show, please leave a comment. I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming and giving me your time. And it was an enjoyable conversation. And hopefully we'll catch up on the next one.
Thank you so much, Tosin. I actually enjoyed this conversation as well. Hopefully,
I
you
would
bring me
love
back
to do that. Love to have
again.
you back. And hopefully you can show our viewers how to do some of the easy magic that you make. With the different That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
sure,
Thank you.
definitely, I will.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this show, please like and subscribe here on YouTube, or even better, leave us a comment with your thoughts. You can also find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast apps. Please consider leaving us a rating and review, which will help others find the show. You can see all our episodes and learn more about the show on our website. I'll see you next time.